Thanks for joining me as I start in Alaska and head through the western United States, Central America, South America, and maybe, if everything goes right, Argentina. So I'm here on day 7 or 8 in Medellin and staying at my second hotel. And it's a pretty magical city, very green, and I'm really impressed. It's probably my favorite city so far. But in this video, I'm going to talk about, well, I actually did film a little bit in Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Honduras, but I looked at the footage and it's just not that exciting, and I don't want to bore my audience. So there's a little bit of a fast forward here with my video, but that's so I can tell you stories that are more interesting, I hope. So yeah, the only remarkable things about El Salvador, it was very clean, and the city of San Salvador was immaculate and very modern. And then the speed limit in Nicaragua was 25 miles an hour. You heard correct. That is the law throughout the country. So I was really glad to get to Costa Rica because, man, it is spectacular. A lot of the time I was there, the volcanoes were hidden under clouds, but there's such a wide variety. There's something for everybody to see. One of my first nights after staying in San Jose doing bike maintenance, I headed to an area near Turrialba, and I stayed at a finca, which is an estate. And I followed this landowner who has a ton of land, and I followed him up this windy road, which was dirt, and it was fine except for the last bit, which was mud, and stayed in a glamping tent, which is just a cabin tent, and it was about the same price as a hotel, which I wasn't thrilled about. I think it was $135, but they were super nice people. After my night of glamping, this lovely lady invited me to stay at her beautiful house a little bit northeast of Turrialba, and the views were spectacular. This is the clouds forming over the river, and just, you know, amazing birds, amazing views in all directions. My lady friend talked me into doing some whitewater paddling, which was intimidating because I hadn't done it, and this is, you know, another country and all that, but it was really one of the highlights of my trip so far. She's a really good paddler, and I hadn't been in whitewater in a long time, but I had a blast. Down at the river, you get a sense of how wild this land is. There's actually some indigenous people living in the forest on the right-hand side, and this is a crazy wild river, and everything that can get you, sting you, bite you, it's all out there. Met this fine chap. He was a guy from the Netherlands. He'd been traveling for 8 years, He let me do some drone footage from his campsite just below my cabin. And this is about 10,000 feet up, so it was chilly at night. After a night in the mountains, I headed down to the coast. I wanted to see some tropical stuff, and I did see more monkeys. Stayed in this place for 3 days because I liked it so much. There's a nature preserve behind it, and they had all the different types of monkeys. And this is Manuel Antonio National Park, and the guides show you all the stuff you didn't see that was standing right in front of you, and got to see all kinds of critters. It was a really fabulous place. Little muggy down there on the coast though. The beaches of Costa Rica are beautiful. I camped near this one in a shelter that you're still on a dirt floor, but at least there's shade from the sun. Met this crusty old guy who came out of the jungle after riding by himself. When I was in Costa Rica, I got recommended to go to the little town of Golfito, and it wasn't much to it, but I'm really glad I ended up there because I ended up having to go to the hospital. This is the look of somebody who can't take one more minute of pain. It was horrible. Kidney stones, folks, it's the worst. The morphine didn't even touch the pain. I sat in the hallway moaning and groaning and yelping for hours. It was about 6 hours till the pain slightly lessened, and after 9 hours, I finally started feeling human again. Earlier in Mexico, I was upset because I was having to wait and wait and wait for some other riders. And, you know, they're on their own trip, I'm on my trip. But I really wanted to ride with other people. But had they showed up early and we left, and had I not lost my passport in Austin, my hospital visit would have been, instead of a visit to a hospital, it would have been me writhing in pain, possibly in the deserts of Bolivia or northern Argentina. That could have been really, really bad. My vitals, when they finally hooked me up to everything, I was not in a good way. So I'm really fortunate that I was in the little town of Golfito and that I could get medical attention there. If I had had that kind of pain in the Atacama Desert or any place where there wasn't a hospital, I don't know if I would have made it. So I stayed in Golfito for the weekend, hoping the guy that ran the sonogram in town would be back, but he never showed up. And I was terrified to leave, but I had been okay for a few days, so I thought, I'm going to just take the risk.
Okay, so my challenge today is I never found out if I passed the kidney stones that nailed me to the floor a couple days ago in excruciating pain. So the challenge is to get, I'm not going to go 5 hours back to San Jose. So I'm going to push on to Panama. There's a city called David, which has modern hospitals, and hopefully I won't have any kidney stones between now and then, because that would freak me out. And it's like super hot. It's over 100 degrees, feels like. And anyways, wish me luck.
They did have better hospitals in David, but I found out I might have had kidney stones, but I definitely had a gallstone. I didn't know what to make of having a gallstone. It spiraled me for a couple days. But after talking with a buddy who's a doctor back in Oregon, he said it's pretty common for people to have gallstones, and I probably did pass a kidney stone. I just didn't see it. So I had to just keep on moving. I spent a couple weeks in Panama City. This is in the little area called Costa, which means helmet in Spanish. Beautiful little area. Got to hang out with some fellow riders that were following behind me, doing a similar trip. Met these rascals. Hey, I wanted to share with you this great breakfast place I found. It's called the parking garage at my hotel, and I'm in downtown Panama, and I've walked around this neighborhood, and there's just nothing good to eat, especially for breakfast. So I'm having my oatmeal and some tea, and I cook them on my little camp stove, and that's just because I have the fuel. I need to use it before I fly out of here, probably next week. And yeah, so it's funny, all the different countries I've been to, the food options haven't been blowing me away, and I really need to, because of my recent health concerns, I need to avoid high fat stuff so I don't overwork my gallbladder. And yeah, not a lot of options out there. Like many people, I was really surprised at how modern and developed Panama City was. After being in the third world for a long time, you're just like, what is the deal? This place is huge. And I mean, hundreds of skyscrapers. And the hospitals were awesome. I got 5 procedures done. This young doctor fixed up my hip, gave me some cortisone, and got some other stuff done, and it was $400. I guarantee you if that was in the States, it would have been in the tens of thousands of dollars for all the procedures I had done. And didn't even need insurance, just paid for it out of pocket. But yeah, skyscrapers everywhere, and lots of modern shops. Was able to pick up an Insta360 camera. Check out this crazy corkscrew building. Then I finally had to go to Overland Embassy to start packing up my bike to take it to Colombia. They x-rayed it and took all the bags off and went through those. And then the easiest part was the flight. It was only an hour and 15 minutes. Arrived early and pretty painless. Lots of bikers have used this Overland Embassy group, and after 3 days, my bike was out of jail, customs jail, and I put my stickers on. Got 10 countries now. Feeling good about that. Bogota is where I landed, and didn't love the city, but the nice part of the city was cool. If you like the feeling of rats crawling all over you, you can feed the pigeons. They're not filthy animals, I think. The most famous Colombian painter is Botero, and I got to check out his paintings as well as some Picassos and Monets and Rembrandts and Renoirs. And then Anthony Bourdain suggested that I go try this place, so I did. And it was really tasty. But Bogota wasn't my favorite city. 8 million people and lots of traffic. I had a cold, so I was feeling kind of low, and got on the bike and the therapy started to work. Even though I had this disgusting huevos rancheros, which is just a hot dog cut up in eggs. This woman traveled 6 hours with that little kitten in her jacket. Woo! I went there for some more hot dog and eggs. Disgusting. And then as I got closer to Medellin, the views started to get really impressive. I had made a decision. I was trying to come up with the next thing to worry about, and I thought, wait a minute, I could just enjoy myself. This place is beautiful. It's actually green, and the roads are really good, and I can go reasonable speed unless I'm behind some super slow truck. And that worked. The sunshine and just getting on the bike kind of dragged me out of my funk, and I was enjoying myself. By the time I got through all the traffic in Medellin, I was done. But the next morning I found my place where I write and drink my tea, and the food in Colombia started to improve. This is a huge town, lots of buildings, lots of terracotta, and really beautiful to watch the afternoon showers come in. I made a friend, Dr. Maria, and she's a super nice local that's lived there a long time, and she said she was going to take me up the cable cars to go see some of the pretty parts, and it was really nice. It's interesting to see the city from a different point of view.
and we went up to see what it looked like from above and then into the forest, which was spectacular. This isn't my Airbnb, but it is a hut that shows how the indigenous people of Colombia live. And that was pretty neat. And we took a nice stroll in the jungle. Beautiful plants everywhere. Wasn't too hot. We're at pretty high altitude. I don't know, probably 6,000 feet or so. And it was really great. So I'm starting to feel like I'm hitting my groove. Very nice to have a local showing me around. And really enjoying the company of another human. Although my Spanish needs a lot of work and she doesn't speak much English, but I'm learning. Medellin is called the City of Eternal Spring, and maybe that's one reason why people from all over the world want to live here. Sure, prices have gone up. They're not like they were 10 years ago, but it's the only place so far where I thought maybe I could live here.